Yet another good day for Sajith. Harin and Manusha are happy over losing portfolios. Ranil's new manager. Sajith thanks Trio for forming alliance. NPP closed the door to them, and they went to Sajith. Rizath and Patali still undecided. Patali's party too is divided. Lucky visits Rizath's home on a daily basis. Grassroots SLPP activists are terrified. Ranil profits from Bangladesh situation. NPP ups itself and nears 30 PC mark. Yoshitha takes his worried father to dine out.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
Yet another good day for Sajith. Yesterday, the day began favourably for Sajith. The Supreme Court upheld that the SJB's decision to expel Manusha and Harin was legally valid. A 3-member bench dismissed the appeals filed by the duo. The SJB social media team is sharing posts that after the general election, it will be the end of their politics too. Now, Sajith can appoint a national list MP of his choice in place of Harin. Upul Jayasuriya and Sujiwa Senasinghe are the top contenders. Day before yesterday, the UNP Working Committee discussed the case when both Harin and Manusha said that at the worst, they would lose their seats. Then we can enter the game full-time, they said. So, Ranil asked Harin to be his permanent campaign manager. Early yesterday morning, Wajira discussed damage control measures, with an MP to be lured to their side before the night news considered an option. On the 8th, too, it was a positive day for Sajith, with the SJB-led Samagi Jana Sandanaya launched in his support. Ranil saved his face with the statement issued by Pavitra, with which she abandoned the Rajapaksas and sided with the president. After the alliance launch, Sajith especially thanked Madhuma Bandara, Marikar and Lucky for making it a success. He also commended Upul Jayasuriya and Senasinghe for their contributions. The day also saw Lucky introducing the SJB Buddhi Mandapaya. When asked to comment about Dulles and Jayasuri aligning with Sajith, AKD said they knocked at their door too, but were refused admittance.
ඔය ගොඩක් අය අපේ දොරටත් තට්ටු කරා. කියන්න එපේ. අපි මොකද කරේ දොරට තට්ටු කරපුවාම ආයිබෝවන් කිව්වා දොර ඇරලා. කියලා මොකද්ද කිව්වේ අපි? ඕගලන්ගේ පැටිකිරි ඉතිහාසය ඒ තරම් හොඳ නැහැ. අපි කිව්වා මොකද්ද? දොරට තට්ටු කරපු ස්තුතියි ආයිබෝවන් ඇතුළට නම් ගන්න බෑ කිව්වා.
That means Sajith is not planning things, but that things fall in line in his favour. Rizath and Patali still undecided. All eyes are now on Rizath and Patali. Rizath's decision is due on 14th of August, and he is presently talking to both Sajith and Ranil. So, Lucky is said to be visiting him at his home on a daily basis now. Anyway, it seems he leans heavily towards Sajith. The URF will announce on 10th of August its decision with regard to the presidential polls. The party's Central Committee and the National Council are due to meet on that day. It will be decided if the party should field its own candidate or support a mainstream candidate. Its leader Patali had talks with Ranil on 06th August, but reached no agreement. He also met Sajith and the leaders of several other parties. According to party sources, a majority of the 10 Politburo members wants the URF to support Sajith by allying with his alliance. They include General Secretary Bandula Chandrasekhara, Karu Paranawithana, Ajith Amarasinghe, Sumedha Ratnayake, Sankalpa Marasinghe, and Thikshana Gamampila. Then, Hedigala Wimalati Sathera and Priyadarshani Aryaratne are 2 moderates, while Harsha Gamage is partial towards AKD. However, Shiral Lakthalake vehemently opposes it. Warner Singhi, who agreed with him, is with Ranil today. The URF doesn't have a hardline approach and all are free to talk openly. Its Central Committee has 85 members and the National Council has 108 members. Signs are there that the URF too is going to support Sajith. Grassroots SLPP activists are terrified. Ongoing violence in Bangladesh following the uprising is having an impact on Sri Lankan politics too. Especially, SLPP supporters are terrified. Pavitra, SM, Rohitha and the like had to decide with the fear factor that if the JVP will gain power to their detriment. State intelligence has reported to the Security Council that the NPP is intensifying its campaign throughout as Ranil, Sajith and Namal keep on fighting against each other. URF's Lakthilak says on Facebook that the NPP leads in 12 Sinhala-dominated districts, with SJB in second place. AKD reaches out to the people with the promise that he can deliver the change they expect. He has his own mechanism to get to them at the levels of youth, women, farmers, armed forces personnel, etc. Their campaign is eye-catching too. AKD commands more than 50% of support in social media. That is having quite an effect on the hundreds of thousands of floating voters. It has attractive ideas such as a production-based economy, free education and healthcare, safeguarding national resources, etc., while maintaining strict party discipline, and the leadership shows honesty too. Swindling public money by politicians is given by them as the main reason for the economic crisis. The NPP endorses a halt to swindling, prosecuting the swindlers, and recovering the lost money as its solutions. Except for that, it has not yet been able to present a cohesive economic programme. According to intelligence reports, AKD is fighting it out with Sajith and is expected to surpass 30% within the next few weeks. Yoshitha takes his worried father to dine out. Lanka newspaper claims Dharmika gave up the SLPP presidential candidacy at the last moment as a result of a clash with Ranil. When Ranil was made the PM and the finance minister, Dharmika insisted he should forgo the cabinet portfolio. That means the two are having a cold war. So, Basil concluded that if the SLPP fields a candidate, it should be none other than Dharmika. So, Basil tried to field Dharmika to even things up with Ranil. Anyway, there is also talk that Mahinda didn't know anything of what was happening. When Dharmika cited his sick mother and withdrew, the SLPP first asked Dinesh, but he refused to be the candidate. Both Roshan and Vijayadasa were reached as well. In the end, Namal volunteered to accept the challenge. Then, his loyalists congratulated him. Mahinda didn't know that. Seeing his father in a disturbed mood, Yoshitha took him to Cinnamon Grand for dinner. Mahinda asked if Namal was going to be the candidate and gave the names of several journalists to call for confirmation. In the end, Yoshitha contacted a radio channel head, who related the whole story to Mahinda. I didn't want Dharmika to be fielded. I told Basil too. I wanted Ranil to be given support. But they didn't listen. So saying, Mahinda cut the line. Then he told Yoshitha to call Ayya and tell him to come to the hotel. Namal arrived half an hour later along with Johnny. Mahinda inquired from him in a sad tone as to what he was up to. There's nothing else to do. If I do not contest, the party will be finished. All of us will be buried alive. Don't be afraid. We will give it a fight, he said with confidence. Johnny too, explained matters. After listening to all that, Mahinda promised to be there the next morning and stood up to go. Both Namal and Johnny worshipped him. Maybe it is after that Namal shared a Facebook post about the ships of the world were not made to be anchored in the harbour. But why do ships venture out to seas amid storms? The Lankan politics facing presidential polls is like a stormy sea. Captains should steer clear of trouble because there is no turning back. The best one will reach the port. That's it for today.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළ ගැස්ම